This is part one of a $2,500 bank strap search where I look through a pile of money to find bills with hidden value, and this search turned up several fancy serial numbers with solid profit potential. In this video, I'll break down what I found and estimate their values based on what similar bills have recently sold for on eBay. In part two, I'll cover the star notes and older bills found in this search, so if you want to see how much more the total value grows, make sure to catch that one as well. Let's get into it. First up is this repeater serial number. So this is where the first half of the serial number repeats again exactly the same way in the second half. So on screen, you're looking at three sales comps, which represent the lowest selling price, the highest selling price, and then one near the average. So over the past month, the lowest selling price was $521, the highest was $1495, and then the average was $964 per bill. So 57% of the sales landed above that average, and based on that, I'm estimating my bill right around the average at $9 to $10. The recognizable pattern of repeater notes is fairly easy to spot in circulation, and it's the same symmetry in their serial numbers that helps them sell consistently. The running total is $9 to $10. Next bill is this radar serial number. So this is also called a palindrome, and it's where the serial number reads the same forward and backward. Over the past month and a half, we had a low of $5 and a high of just north of $30, and that put the average sale price right around $11.69. And 45% of those sales were above that average, so I'm gonna estimate mine again near the average at $11 to $12. And I'd like to put bills like this into a currency sleeve to help preserve condition. I've linked the ones I used below if you want to check them out. Only about 1 out of every 10,000 bills printed ends up being a radar serial number, so while they're not ultra rare, they stand out enough to hold steady resale demand. The running total is $20 to $22. Next up, we have the serial number with 2 pairs followed by 4 repeating digits in a row. So this could be referred to as a quad with 2 pairs. Sales over the last couple months averaged $7.37 per bill with a low of $5 and a high of $10.73. So half of the sales were above the average, and I'm estimating my bill right around the average at $7 to $8. There are a lot of different repeating group variations out there, and this pattern is just one of them. Some variations bring higher prices than others, but they all attract steady collector interest when the patterns are clear and easy to spot. The running total is $27 to $30. This next find is layered with features. So it's got 5 repeating digits in a row, plus a stuck digit, also sometimes referred to as a gas pump or odometer error, and over inking on a couple of those digits. Now, there weren't any sales comps specific to the bills with all of these layered features together, so I broke down the comps by each feature. For the 5 in a row feature, the low was $2.59, which is what they averaged in the set of 8 that sold for $20.74. And then we had a high of $14.99. That brought the average to $7.24 per bill, and 44% of those sales sat above the average. So for this feature, I'm estimating it at $7 to $8. Next, for the stuck digit feature, I selected comps over the last couple of months where the degree of misalignment on that stuck digit was similar to that of my bill. So those averaged $5.45 per bill with a low of $3.85, and then we had a high of $7.90. 56% of those sales were above the average. So for this feature, I'm estimating $5 to $6 for it. So $12 to $14 when combined with the 5 in a row feature. And last, I'm showing a couple sales comps featuring the over inking on the digit in the serial number. They sold for around $4. It's somewhat of a niche market for these, but I could probably get several more dollars for my bill if I was willing to wait for the right buyer. Therefore, I'm just going to give the $12 to $14 estimate a plus sign on the end of it to represent that there's more potential value there. Layered features like this make a bill stand out in the market. When you stack multiple eye-catching traits, you're really adding layers of value. That kind of uniqueness can set its own value range. The running total is $39 to $44. This next bill has a serial number with 4 leading zeros, so this is going to make it a semi-low serial number. Now, I stuck the comps in serial number ranges between the 7,000s and the 9,000s just to stay close to mine for accuracy of the comps, even though serial numbers from the 1,000s to the 9,000s often sell within the same ranges. These had a low of $4 and a high of $16.96, and the average came in at $10.62 per bill, with half above the average. Since mine is in higher grade condition, I'm estimating it on the higher end of the range at $13 to $16. Some semi-low serial numbers are worth more than others, especially when the digits following the zeros form a solid repeating pattern, or when they're made up of only ones and zeros after the 4 leading zeros. The running total is $52 to $60. And my last finds are these 3 birthday notes, and they get their name because the serial number reads like a date, and I found 2 with a layout where it's the month, the day, and the year, and then 1 with a layout where it's the day, the month, and then the year. I'm gonna go ahead and break these down by layout. For the month, day, year layout, 25 comps over the past week showed a low of $9.03 and a high of $44.99. The average sat at $23.36. But only a little over 1/3 sold above that average. So I'm estimating mine south of the average at $17 to $20 each. And for the day, month, year layout, I had to look at comps from mid-September to now for enough data since these sold much less frequently. But for the low, it was $12.99. And then there was a high of $21.32. And that gave an average of $18.20. And almost 2/3 sold above that average. But since mine isn't in that great of shape, I'm going to estimate it on the lower end of the range at $13 to $14. Birthday notes appeal beyond traditional collectors. Gift buyers or anyone looking for a meaningful date keeps these consistently in demand. Altogether, the fancy serial numbers I found in this $2,500 bank strap search have an estimated value of $99 to $114. In part 2, I'll break down the star notes and older bills from the same search to see how much more the total value grows. If that video is already live, you'll see it linked right here on screen, and if not, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss when it drops. Thanks for watching.